Hello there, and welcome to another album review of The Shield Dude in the Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and tonight we're going to talk about the new album by Boston band Cave In, who just released their new album called Heavy Pendulum. And this album, it's very interesting because this band back in 2019 released, it was an album, but an album more of demos with their late bassist. Caleb Schofield, who tragically died in an accident a few years ago, and the band released that album. It was called Final Transmission. So it wasn't clear if the band was going to go forward. So when they announced that they were doing this new album, there was a lot of hype with people that love this band because first of all, it's an album. It has a lot of first. This is the first album with their new bass player, and their new bass player is Nate Newton, and also it's their first album on a new record label. Right now they're on Relapse Record, and Relapse Record is really famous. It has bands like Mastodon, Baroness, Red Fang, so they're very known for that like sludgy type of metal and rock bands. And also, this is the first album that the band is again working with producer Kurt Barlow from Converge. They did their first album in 1998 with him, so it's a full circle coming back. There's a new bass player, new record label, and going back to a producer who worked with them in the beginning. And their last album also came out. Their proper album came out 11 years ago. So this is the first music of the band, in 10 years. So it's in a decade. That's a lot of time to have no music, proper music from them. So it is a big deal. And how could I describe this album in a few words? I would say it's heavy space rock. That's what this sounds like. I love this album cover. You have Saturn, you have the comets, the colors. And this is a band that has been known to play a lot of atmospheric type of rock and also post-hardcore alternative rock, if you will. And on this album, they do a little bit of everything of what they've done in the past. The album is 14 songs and it's a whopping 70 minutes. So it's an hour and 10 minutes of music. And you may ask, that's a lot of music, but you know what? I can honestly say there's no second of this album that's lost or felt unneeded, or like you would say would be filler. To me, this album has no filler. I really love this album. Something that I like about this album is that it really has like peaks and valleys flowing through different styles, and it has a great production by Kurt Barlow. But I believe I love the lyrics on it. The lyrics are hard to interpret a little bit, but I think the album has one of the best material that the band has produced yet. So the album starts with the song New Reality, which actually was one of the first single that they released. And New Reality starts with some crunchy guitar, very crunchy. It hits you, and it really fast song. The vocals are pretty much very standard, heavy rock, alternative rock. Very good vocals and very catchy. And something that I love about this album is that it has a great album opener, but also it finishes awesome. So I'll talk about the last song on the album a little bit later, but everything in the album is good. It's followed by Blood Spiller, and Blood Spiller, it's more sludgy, more slower riffing, if you will. Like think of bands like a Mastodon, like a Baroness, but with those alternative type of singing. Sometimes they have harsher singing in the songs, but they always bring some melody to it, and it is slower in pacing than New Reality. But Blood Spiller, it's another great track. That's followed by Floating Skulls, and Floating Skulls is just a banger. It's a song that it's like a 4-minute song. has some great riffing to it. It has I like some parts in there where they do like spacey type of guitar solos. Like they sound very psychedelic, like they take their time. And then they follow that song with Heavy Pendulum. And Heavy Pendulum, the song fits right in. It's heavy, but it's also kind of hypnotic. It's slower paced, and it builds and builds, and it has that spacey rock type of feel to it. And then it's followed by Pendulum Bend, which is one of the more like, it's not an intro, but one of those segue tracks. There's two of them, and Pendulum, is just a track that goes from Pendulum Bend to Careless Offering. And Careless Offering has some great chorus. It has also some great memorable guitar. This one is more in the vein of the New Reality, like it's a faster, more post-hardcore song. And then they are followed by one of the first songs that is one of the longest, Blinded by Ablaze. And Blinded by Ablaze is a 7.5 minute song. And what I found very interesting about this song is that it has like 4 lines. It says, blinded by a blaze, and it repeats a lot of things in the part. And there's parts of these songs that reminded me a lot of like a Queens of the Stone Age vibe. Very spacey, very atmospheric. It has in the middle of the song a part where it has like a solo that is like a real slow solo, and it sounds like a guitar being played in space. And that's something that I love about this track, because it's a track that has a lot of also like prog rock, if you will, for it in that song. Then they follow it with Amarantine, and Amarantine is another banger, another more fast-paced song, very in the vein of Floating Skulls and maybe Bloodspiller a little bit. And fun track, great guitar on it, great vocals. And then they go, so Searches of Hell, the 9th song, is a song that it's one of the most heavy songs on the album. Think sludgy, think a lot of riffs in your face. It sounds like a heavier Mastodon or Red Fang, but their earlier albums. And it's just a banger from beginning to end. It's a really great track. If I must say, goes into Nightmare Eyes, and that's another one of the songs that is. I'm gonna put my glasses to see the time of this one. This one is at 7.5 minutes, and it's a song that really takes its time. And when it is saying shouting Nightmare Eyes, it gets really sludgy and really heavy and really hard. So it's a song that I thought it's one of the strongest two on the track. And then they go into Days of Nothing, which is another intermission track. So this track really goes into Waiting for Love, and Waiting for Love is a track that it's more slower, and it's all about someone that it's the lyrics are, they talk about someone that's waiting for love. Love is out there, but it sounds like someone that it's really hard for him to find love. But it's a good track. And then the final 2 tracks of the album, we have Reckoning. And Reckoning has more guitars that sound very grunge. It reminded me of a band like Days of the New, with the style that they do. And it is one of the last singles that they put out. And it's one of the maybe the more slower commercial ones on the record. But then the album closes with Wavering Angel at a whopping 12 minutes and 9 seconds. And that is, to me, one of the highlights of the album. Like, that song starts with some slow guitar, acoustic guitar. It starts building, then it gets psychedelic. It gets more post-hardcore. It has sludgy. It has all the elements that Caving used in one song. And even though it's a 12 and 9 minute song, I never felt bored with it. I thought it was great. And something that I really like is the lyrics. So I'm gonna read some of the lyrics from this song that I thought is a standout track. Have you ever loved somebody too much? Killed them with kindness, crushed them with touch. Have you ever held somebody too close? Took him like a drug, then you overdose. Slip into a state of mind so free, that's all you want to be. And it's all about like needing someone so much, and like being overdosed with those feelings. So, in conclusion, to me, this is a fantastic album. I love the album title Heavy Pendulum because it really explains what the album is about. This is an album that is heavy, but pendulum, they use pendulums, to hypnotize you and put you in a trance. This music is so atmospheric, so spacey that it also puts you in a trance. So it explains what this album is about. It's a heavy album, but with some psychedelic, spacey rock themes, and it embraces the weird and everything it does. So at the end of the day, I was very surprised by this album. I think this is one of the best rock albums I've heard in years. uh, I just love it from front to back. Maybe if I had to nitpick a little bit, I would say like it's 70 minutes long. But you know what? Like I said before, there's no second wasted on this album. Everything fits perfectly. And I think that after all that this band has been through, and so many years that they didn't put music, they needed to make a statement. And I think they did it. I still don't know if this would rank for me as their best album yet because it's so new. I have to have more time listening to it, but I think it's going to be up there in their discography. So do not sleep on this new Caving record because, as I stated, it is a fantastic record. So, what did you think about this album? Did you like it? You didn't like it? Comment. What were your favorite tracks of Heavy Pendulum? Do you like Cave In? Uh, what did you think about the production from Kurt Ballo on this? I want to know in the comments. And if you like the videos that I'm putting out, give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe. I have more album reviews on the way. So until next time, this is Hector, the Shield doing a couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you and good night.